Yo, we got some breaking news. There's a man arrested in connection with the murder of Tupac Shakur in 1996 drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. Yeah, that shooting happened almost 27 years ago, almost 30 years ago. There's no statute of limitations on a homicide, so for them to come out and make an arrest after all these years, I guess they have been working on it the whole time. Now, the Las Vegas police have arrested a man in the 1996 drive-by shooting of Tupac, the Associated Press say. The long-awaited break in a case that has frustrated investigators and fascinated the public ever since the hip-hop icon was gunned down on the Las Vegas Strip. Now, the person they arrested is Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He was arrested early Friday morning. I think that was today. Although the exact charges were not immediately clear. According to two officials with first-hand knowledge of the arrest, they were not authorized to speak publicly ahead of an expected indictment later Friday. Now, Davis has long been known to investigators, and as himself admitted in interviews and in his 2019 tell-all memoir, Compton Street Legend, that he was in the catalog where the gunfire erupted during the September 1996 drive-by shooting. Shakur was 25 when he was gunned down. Now, this dude, Keefe D, he was a member of the Southside Compton Crips out in L.A. It's near Compton. L.A. is near Compton in California. Davis is actually a childhood friend of the NWA's Eazy-E. Now, they're saying the arrest comes 2 months after Las Vegas police raided his wife's home July 17th in neighboring Henderson. Documents said police were looking for items concerning the murder of Tupac. So they had been investigating this the whole time. And I guess that dude, Keefe D, was on their radar. So police reported collecting multiple computers, a cell phone, and hard drive. A Vibe magazine that featured Shakur, several .40 caliber bullets, 2 tubs containing photographs, and a copy of Davis's 2019 book, Compton Street Legend. In the book, Davis said he broke his silence over Tupac's killing in 2010 during a closed-door meeting with the federal and local authorities. Wow. At the time, he was 46 and facing life in prison on drug charges when he agreed to speak with the authorities. Man, they knew he did it. Why are they just not making the arrest? Now, they say they promised it would shred the indictment and stop the grand jury if I helped them out, he wrote. Yeah, a lot of these rappers, they go on these interviews. A lot of people go on Vlad TV, and they admit to a lot of crimes. A lot of dudes been arrested for after interviews with Vlad TV, telling all their business. Now, there might be some people that are not old enough to know the details, but Shakur was 25 when he was gunned down in a drive-by shooting near the Las Vegas Strip on the night of September 7th, 1996. The rapper was in a BMW driven by Suge Knight in a convoy of about 10 cars. I'm glad Snoop Dogg didn't, because Snoop was supposed to go, but he ended up not even going. And that was in Las Vegas because of the Mike Tyson fight. But they continue to say they were waiting at a red light when a white Cadillac pulled up to them and gunfire erupted. Shakur was shot multiple times and died a week later. And also, I remember the report said that Suge Knight, he had got grazed in the head by a bullet. Yeah, I remember this story like it was yesterday, man. I can't believe they made an arrest. But the shooting happened shortly after a casino brawl earlier in the evening involving Anderson. It was another dude, I think from Compton. I think he's actually related to this dude, Keefe D. So he's saying Shakur and others. Anderson denied any involvement in the Shakur shooting. He died 2 years later in a shooting in Compton. So yeah, he was still out there banging. Tupac's death came as his fourth solo album, All Eyes on Me, remained on the charts with some 5 million copies sold, nominated 6 times for a Grammy. Shakur is largely considered one of the most influential and versatile rappers of all time. Yeah, he's actually my favorite rapper of all time. Shakur was feuding at the time with rap rival Biggie, also known as the Notorious B.I.G., who was fatally shot in March '97. At the time, both rappers were in the middle of an East Coast-West Coast rivalry that primarily defined the hip-hop scene during the mid-'90s. This dude came out multiple times admitting being in the vehicle. Now, they're saying in 2018, after a cancer diagnosis, Davis admitted publicly in an interview for a BET show being inside the Cadillac during the attack. So he was diagnosed with cancer, so he probably, thought he was on his way out. And he was like, man, I'm not going to take this to my grave, so I'm going to go ahead and just admit to my involvement. And he also implicated his nephew, Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, saying he was one of the two in the back seat when the shots were fired. Now, Greg Kading, a retired LAPD detective who spent years investigating Tupac's killing and wrote a book about it, said that he would not be surprised by Davis's indictment and the arrest. It's so long overdue, Kading told the Associated Press during a recent interview. People have been yearning for him to be arrested for a long time. It's never been unsolved in our minds. It's been unprosecuted. All I know is when that All Eyes on Me came out, man, it was a hell of a East Coast, West Coast rivalry. Tupac had the whole world just like straight stuck. It was so much controversy. It was ridiculous. Brothers used to always battle, but I think that right there between Pac and Biggie, man, that was something that people had never seen before. That had the whole world shook. And the retired police detective, Kading, said that he put himself squarely in the middle of the conspiracy. Kading said of Davis and the Shakur slaying, he had acquired the gun, he had given the gun to the shooter, and he had been present in the vehicle when they hunted down and located both Tupac and Suge Knight that evening. And the retired detective also said that Kading noted that Davis is the last living person among the 4 people who were in the vehicle from which shots were fired at Shakur and the rapper Suge Knight. Others were Davis's nephew Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, Terrence Bubble Up Brown, and DeAndre Freaky Smith. Now, it's a concerted effort of conspirators, Kading said, adding that he believed because the killing was premeditated, Davis could face a first-degree murder charge. And in California, I think that's 25 to life. Well, actually, that's Las Vegas, not California. And all the direct conspirators or participants are all dead, Kading said. Keefe D is the last man standing among the individuals that conspired to kill Tupac. So they've been watching this dude for a long time. And him putting out that memoir and going on Vlad TV, implicating himself in the crime. So I guess he was just trying to get caught. But I'm glad they made an arrest. And they need to hold him to justice, convict his ass for killing my boy Pac. And I'm out, and I'll holler at y'all later.